What's up guys? In this video we're going to talk all about how to get rich trading nothing but indexes. So not scanning through tons of different stocks, not constantly trying to figure out what to trade, just trading a single thing. Okay, so maybe you won't get rich on day one, but the point of this video is that if you've ever heard the phrase that simple scales and fancy fails, you'll find that that's 100% true with trading. And we're going to talk about why that is today, and more importantly, how you can use it to your advantage by just focusing on a single thing, something like just an index that you can trade over and over again in order to create the results that you want. But why is that important in the first place? Well, one, if you're anything like me, a lot of my students, you probably don't have a ton of time throughout the course of the day. Maybe you're working a 9 to 5, maybe you have other things going on, you're spending time with family, you're running a million miles an hour, and sometimes it's tough to dedicate a ton of time towards trading. After all, for most people, trading is meant to be an extra source of income, not necessarily the only source of income, which means your time is going to be spent in a million different places. So if you can simplify your approach, get good at only trading one thing, it's going to save you time. Because now you don't have to spend the time scanning the market for tons of different stocks or trying to figure out what to look for on a day-to-day basis. You can just do one thing over and over again. So why index funds? Why not trade, Bitcoin or a certain stock over and over again? Well, because index funds tend to be relatively repetitive. And what that means is that it's easier for you to find the same patterns, the same setups over and over and over again. And as a trader, if you want consistent income, you want consistent price action, consistent setup. So basically you just want the same things to repeat themselves over and over again. With individual stocks, sometimes that doesn't happen in quite the same way. Because it's just one company, all kinds of different things can cause movement in the price of that stock. But with an index, because it's a basket of tons of stocks, there's less, like one little tiny factor that can influence how that's gonna move, and it can be more repetitive in nature, which as a trader, you really like. You want things that are repetitive, that way you can make repetitive income. That's what it's all about. The other advantage to something like an index fund is it's super liquid. And all I mean by that is you're not gonna have any trouble getting your orders filled or scaling your position sizes up. If you're trading itty bitty penny stocks or small cap stocks, even little crypto coins, you may not always be able to get your orders filled. And the most frustrating thing as a trader is to get in, know that you have a winning trade, and then you can't get your entire position size filled. So you end up not making as much money. Where index funds, you're not gonna run into that. You have billions of dollars pouring into something like the S&P 500 every single day, and smaller amounts of income, smaller amounts of trades, even up to $100,000 plus a month, you won't have any kind of issues getting filled on something like an index fund. But how do you actually make good money off of it? Because we talked about getting rich in this video, and even though that's not gonna happen for you tomorrow, it's a process, you can make really good money off of it. And I'm gonna show you proof that it works. So what we're gonna do, take a look at the screen, and if you look at this past month of trade, so from mid-November to mid-December, time I'm filming this video, you'll find about a 50K month in terms of P&L. 97, let me start that over. That was my best month, was 50K month over that time frame, so best period of time. But the total P&L during that 30 days was close to 100K. But here's the most important piece of this. If you actually dig into the data and look at what I did during that particular month, you'll notice that the only thing that I traded was just S&P 500 futures. So only traded a single thing during that entire month period. So why does that matter? Well, if you can make all the money that you want just trading a single thing, why waste all the time, all the energy, all the frustration of trading a bunch of different things when you can be the master of just a single thing? Nobody wants to be a jack of all trades but master of none. And that's what you can do when you narrow your focus to something like just trading index funds, is you can become the master of just a single thing and make all the money you want off of it. So how do we actually do it? Let's go ahead and take a peek at the chart. We'll give you an idea of the steps you need to trade something like index funds. So if we're pulling up the chart here, what you'll find is that the first thing that you need to do is actually decide on the tool that you want to trade. So are you going to trade just shares? Are you going to trade options? Are you going to trade futures? I can tell you for my personal preference, I like to trade futures or options, mostly futures now based on my size. But if you're a little bit smaller, something like options work well work as well. And I like to trade just S&P 500 futures and options. The reason I like that is because it's simple. It's easy to find yourself in a position where you can do the same thing over and over again, because the S&P 500 has key areas that get hit, and you can repeat things over and over and over again by trading the S&P 500. But how do you actually make money with this? Well, I'm going to show you an example on futures and just how much money you could actually make trading these just by focusing on a single thing. So this is an example of a setup that I looked at on December 7th. And all I was looking at is for highs to get taken out here. And we can cover setup criteria in a different video, but I just wanted you to focus on the money that you can make and why you only need one thing to make really good money. And my entry on this particular day was right in here, stop above this prior candle high. And I target something like a 2-to-1 reward to risk. Obviously you had a lot more than that on this particular trade. You had as high as, 5-to-1, 13-to-1 reward to risk, 7-to-1 reward to risk on this trade. Sorry, looking at the wrong numbers. But if I'm just targeting something like a 2-to-1 reward to risk using futures, this is what that move looked like. So my entry is right here, coming into this entry criteria, stop above here, and profit target just down in here. So this is this tiny little move. It actually all happened on the same exact minute, same exact candle. So 10:16 a.m. Eastern time, came in, got entered, didn't hit my stop threshold, came all the way back down through my profit target, hit 2-to-1. Just that tiny little move. But with my kind of sizing, and this is gonna be different for each person, here's how much money you could actually make off of that. So I like to risk about $2,500 per trade, which means if I stop out on this trade, I lose $2,500. If I win this trade, I make $5,000. So on this particular trade, just this little move here was $5,000. Now, obviously, if you have a smaller account, you're not gonna be risking $2,500 a trade, but the relationship works the same way. So if you give yourself a 2-to-1 relationship like that, risk $100, make $200. And you can repeat those patterns over and over and over again. So as you can see, you don't need a ton of money to make good money. You don't need a ton of stocks to be able to do it. If you can do something like that, risk $100 to make $200 and do that on a day-to-day basis, and you can repeat those patterns over and over again because you have good setup criteria, you know what to look for, then you don't need a bunch of different stocks to do this. On average, opportunities like the one I just looked at will happen a good 15 times a month at least. If you have 15 opportunities to create a 2-to-1 trade on just a single thing, you don't need a bunch of things to be successful. So what are our takeaways here? Well, I think biggest takeaways are you don't need to do a lot of different things to make money. You just need to get really good at one thing, and think about what your actual goals are. If your goal is to be, a professional trader, you want to start your own hedge fund like I have and do all those, then yeah, okay, maybe you can expand and you trade on different things and you look at creating a different approach. But for most people, you don't necessarily want that, right? You probably just want more time back, more time with family, a little bit more income to do some of the extra things that you want. Maybe you want a different job. You don't need a bunch of different stocks to do that. You just need one skill, one setup, and you can do that just by trading something like an index. So if you like more content like this, be sure to hit the like button, share this channel. Reminder for those of you that are new, we give away all of our ad revenue at the end of every single month to our top subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe and share this video to as many people as possible, and you'll be in the running to get that ad revenue money, and we'll see you on the next one.